Hi, Mike Roman here. It's Tuesday again, so it's Ask the Guru Tuesday from cateringguru.com. Today's question is going to deal with one I get all the time for the last 30 years. Anything I should know about leftover food at events? How do I make sure I'm okay? We're going to cover that briefly in a few moments. But before, as usual, I just have one little tip for you. And it's another word we don't use too often in catering, foodborne illness. It's a thing we kind of, worry about. Cruise ships have that problem, and we do also. But I want to remind you that some caterers that I work with actually make part of their presentation, their bid, verbal and or written, the words, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. Corporation, let me share with you what we do at ABC Catering to overcome the problems of foodborne illness. Foodborne illness tactics and preparation are something you should actually sell, that you actually are aware of it. You're not nervous by it. It's a real thing in the world, and you'll take care of it, and you're a professional. So back to our question. Leftover event foods, what the heck do you do with them, and can you get in trouble? Of course you can. My story is simple. Many caterers have had this problem. When I was a young caterer, I let a client after an event keep a whole bunch of hors d'oeuvres in their freezer. Now, you may think I'm just, kidding you here, but she actually kept them for 3 years, I swear to goodness. And then she cooked them, she heated them up, and people got ill on them. So the point is that I was proved innocent because nobody in a court system says you can keep things for 3 years and then cook it. But the money I had to spend to defend myself and my company was really a lot, and that's the problem. So leftover foods are complicated because restaurant industry, I myself, I take the leftover food home with me very often to reuse and to just feels good. I couldn't finish the steak, so I take some with me. So the culture says that at the end of a meal, you take the food. What about in catering? Well, as you and I know, we sometimes bring more food than we need for lots of reasons, for our staff to eat and for emergencies at a party. But the host thinks they own the food. And yet nowhere in our contract does it say, we're selling you 47 pounds of food. What we really are doing as caterers is promising to feed the people who are there so that nobody is upset or goes away hungry. Now, there are laws in all states pertaining to caterers with leftover foods. And I can assure you that in most states, whether you know it or not, or whether your health inspector even knows it or not, there are firm laws that say that when food has left the safe temperature zone, we'll explain that in a few moments, it cannot be given to anybody. It needs to be destroyed. So food that is unsafe is food that's been on a buffet, it's been sitting out in the open air. So you have to get familiar with these particular laws, or else you're going to find yourself in some real serious situations. Now, false foodborne illness is real. People don't get up in the morning and say, hey, we're going to sue our caterer today. But after a party, people sometimes have strange reactions. Somebody does get sick from maybe a spice, or maybe they ate somewhere else and they get sick and they think it's your food. All these things add up to a very serious situation for us. So what is this unsafe temperature zone? States have a little variance sometimes in degrees, but basically anything above 40 degrees and below 140 degrees Fahrenheit is a danger zone. If that's left out for a couple hours, you really can't resell it, use it, or give it away. It's a serious problem. Now, when you think about it for a moment in Romanized terms, okay, there should be some action plans that you think of. First of all, you have to explain early in your sales process, or certainly after the sale is made early, that you need to explain what happens with leftover food. That it's just something, because the laws are written, you want to protect your guest, Mrs. Smith, so therefore we just don't give leftover food away. We destroy it. We let it go. Other ideas at the moment. But you shouldn't have leftover food from the customer's point of view. By 8 o'clock, after the guests have had hors d'oeuvres, you've got a feeling of how many are there and not there. So therefore, all you have to think about is, well, maybe we should get some of the food back on the truck that's left over before the customer comes in at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock and looks for what's left over. So, think that way. A double pack system is also used by caterers. This is where they hold some of the food in the van or the truck in dry ice or wet ice, the safe temperature zones, so they keep it safe and only bring it in if they need it. Some caterers give a care package at the beginning of the party. Mrs. Smith, I know that you're going to be working all hard tonight with us as a host, and we're just put some of our food that we brought for our guests in your refrigerator right now. And that's safe food. Comes from the safe temperature zone, goes right to the refrigerator, so tomorrow you'll have something to munch on. Makes sense? Use a waiver when you think it's appropriate for people to sign if they ever do want to get the leftover food. You should have warning labels on your packaging saying, heat this food with authority. This has been out of the safe temperature zone and so forth, okay? Well, also, I think you really need to think about, if you're doing drop-off catering, we should be getting signatures from where we deliver food to. Okay, delivered at 12:05, please sign here, Mrs. Smith or Mr. Corporate Person. So we should have a record of how long the food has been out of our hands in the hands of a particular client. So make it part of the sale. Okay, you just have to think of how you're going to keep your guests safe, your hosts safe. Educate them, bring them up to your level. Anyway, I thought this was an interesting session. I hope it isn't too controversial for you. Thank you for your comments. You can put comments down below as always. And I'm very excited to bring these presentations to you. It's really a lot of fun for me. So let me know your suggestions of what you wish to do. Call me, email me, put the comments down below. Don't be afraid of disagreeing with me. That's what education is all about. There's never been a better time to be a caterer, ladies and gentlemen. And quite frankly, if you know what you're supposed to do and not do, it makes it even better. Thanks again. Have a great week.